always mess up your last name, Aveaneda, um, is the listing broker on this very unique condo development in Revere, which is outside of Boston. And anyone that works in that market, you guys know affordability and Boston are not synonymous with each other. And oftentimes people either get frustrated or they don't want to look, or they go outside of our markets or go to different states. So Roy's been able to create a relationship with this developer and landed this unique opportunity. So Roy, I'm throwing it to you. Tell us about this.
So Suzanne, thank you very much for putting this together and allowing me and Liz from Chris Law to be here. As you stated, this is another project by Broadway Capital. Counting the number of just condominium projects, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, their fourth project now that they're doing in the North Shore area. The 3 previous ones were in Chelsea, and this is their first venture into Revere. And like the very first project that they did, which was 932 Broadway in Chelsea, it is the remodeling of an existing nursing home and the conversion of that building into individual condominiums now that those respective nursing homes have closed. And I'm excited about it because first and foremost, Broadway Capital has built a history so far of manufacturing high quality level condominium units. And those who are interested can see from the past sales on MLS and Zillow the real life pictures of what those units look like. They are using the same finishes here in this project, which is 71 residential units and 1 commercial unit. And like that 932, it is the remodeling of an existing nursing home that was located at 133 Salem Street. I'm excited because one, I know that the building itself is a great rehab because this was a nursing home. As I walk in there during the construction, I'm looking at concrete floors, cinder block building, large hallways and 2 elevators, all being reused. And we're not seeing that. You typically are not seeing that not only in new construction condominiums that are just 4 levels high, but even the apartments that we're seeing, a lot of this is stick built. So to get a concrete, brick, mortar, steel girder building to be a condominium complex that isn't 30 stories high in Boston and the North Shore, it's a great product, and I'm excited for that very nature. As they say in the business, the building has great bones. So right from the start, we have a great a structure, foundation to build upon. And these units are priced wonderfully under $500,000. The only ones that are priced above that, and they're just 4, it's 1 floor plan, and that's a 2-bed with a den. It's the largest unit, and those are just priced above $500,000. So respectfully, when you take a look at what's been selling in the North Shore area, if you take Revere, Saugus, Everett, Chelsea, and even East Boston for that matter, because it's north of Boston and it's on the side of the harbor, nothing is priced in these price points. We're going to get I think they're going to sell really quick because of that price point. For those of you who are again tired of renting, we've already gotten some interest from the people who are renting at the Overlook complex, which is right across the street on Salem. So we know that these are going to be well responded to. And the other nice part about this, I haven't talked about the location besides the finishes. The name North Strand comes from the bike path that is behind this building, adjacent to the building. The North Strand bike trail runs from Everett, Massachusetts, all the way up to Salem. And so for those outdoor enthusiasts, it's a great location for those who are thinking of themselves of living in an area that they can either ride their bike to work or just use the bike trail in itself on weekends and when they're trying to get some outdoor exercise. Additionally to this, in the nearby area, we have the Lynn Woods, Braycott Reservation, Revere Beach, Deer Island Walking. So anyone who's a huge enthusiast for outdoors and looking for living close to the Boston area, but trying to have some of that outdoor space around them, will find that this is a great spot. There will be bike racks on site for those. We're expecting that the buyers are going to have that sort of desire to have a place to store their bicycles. It's also a pet-friendly building. So anyone who likes to take a four-legged friend along with their walks, like me, they'll have those ability to have a pet or two. They plan on having a two pet restriction. Those are some of the nice things about it. And of course, taking a look at the finishes, I know that I sent you also the brochure. You'll see them. We have top of the line appliances, cabinetry, tile finishes in the bathroom. And so I think that the people who are looking to purchase something under 500,000 and one bedrooms in the $300,000 range would fit very nicely for them.
What is the reservation process? So if a client wants to reserve one of these, how does that process work?
We do have a reservation form online. It's very simple. They will set up either a virtual tour, or we are doing tours on site in a limited basis. Again, it is a live construction site. We will plan to have a model unit next month, so people will actually see the finishes in person. But right now they can see the framing, and with that, be able to not only see the quality of the work that is behind the walls before the sheetrock goes up, but gets an idea of the spacing that these units will have. And the reservation is simple, very much like you do when you put an offer in. It's $1,000 down to reserve the unit that they're looking for. And then within 3 weeks, you will work with the seller's attorney on this to, we'll send over a purchase and sale. We did reach out to Chris Law to assist any buyers who are looking for representation on the buyer side for legal services to help them negotiate the purchase and sale for them. And of course, we have, guaranteed rate as our lender to get pre-approved. And so as long as they're pre-approved and they have $1,000, they can reserve one of these units, and we can do as low as 3.5% down payment. And that reserves a unit that you can then close on in April. So if you are thinking of buying something when your lease is up in April, in the spring, but you're concerned that I don't know what's going to be on the market at that time, this is a great product because you can reserve something now. And then when your lease is up, come springtime, you're ready to move out and you get a brand new condominium unit ready to move into. This is, again, a lot of people may be locked in leases right now, but still want to find something. And they're afraid, oh my God, I'm going to join the spring rush. Well, this is a perfect opportunity to avoid that spring rush. Save your space right now. You have plenty of options here right now. Not get into a competitive bidding war with someone and on, a one unit in one building that has, 20 other buyers, fighting you over it. $1,000 down now, and then the 3.5% in a few weeks or a month away when we get the purchase and sale signed. And then everything happens later on. That's the condo doc review, the walkthrough for the inspection and such.
I'm going to click play. So maybe you can give a little details.
Yes. So as you see, we're zooming in. This is the hero shot. We're zooming in right on the location. It's adjacent to Route 1 in Saugus. So it's a great location. Again, you have the marsh in the background, and the bike path, you can kind of see it running along the marsh in the back. It's the line, so it runs along the back of the property, adjacent to the marsh. And as I said, it goes from there through Malden to Everett and along the way, very close to the orange line. And then it goes in the other direction towards Lynn and further into Salem. So it's a great bike ride. And here are the units that we talked about. They come with all the appliances, microwave, stove, range, the dishwasher, refrigerator with an ice maker, garbage disposal, nice finishes for the sinks. That's also in the brochure, and the full tiled bathrooms.
Roy, you were talking about, and this was something when you gave me a tour of the construction site that, and you did touch upon it a little bit with the concrete and how that's a big difference from stick built, as far as noise level. And I'm probably saying it wrong, but can you elaborate on that and the quality of this as opposed to something that's different?
As someone who lived in a 3-family, we knew what it was like to have to live in a building. Even some of this new construction, I lived in a newer construction apartment complex. It was luxury. It had a gym, doggy daycare, all the things that you think, oh, great. But meanwhile, I could hear upstairs and downstairs, and they could hear me, and I can hear next door. The fact that this building is a reuse of a former hospital, it was built differently, and the weight loads and so forth. So having that concrete floors and having a high ceiling that is also concrete, you are not going to hear the above and below. They're not going, that just doesn't exist. And with today's fireproofing guidelines that are required in between the units, you'll have that extra insulation so that you're not hearing to the side of you. So they're structured very nicely, and especially on the corner units where there's only one apartment on one side, you won't hear your neighbors. So it'll be great to. That's what I'm saying about sometimes you buy into these buildings and you still hear things, but that won't be the case here.
I'm going to stop the screen share and I'm going to bring up the affordable units and the website, and I'll throw that in the chat for anyone that's on here if you'd like the website. Can you give a little understanding of how the affordable units work as well as the lottery process, Roy?
Revere, like many communities in Massachusetts who are, trying to make a dent up against the high cost of housing, and how it's become unaffordable for many working class. They required the developer to have some affordable condominium units in the building. We're still fluctuating between 8 to 18 as a final number of how many units will be affordable. But the range is 80% AMI, which means that with that, there is, I think, the $65,000 around that is the annual income limit for one person. It goes up to 75 when it's 2 people in a household. And so a individual or a couple who make less than that can have the opportunity to purchase one of these units, and they will have a studio, a 1-bed and a 2-bed, a number of different configurations available that, as you can see on the price points, imagine a 1-bedroom or a studio for $146,000 or a 2-bed for $213,000. I mean, it's an incredible opportunity for people to put their name in, apply, and if they are deemed that they are below those income guidelines and are selected in the lottery, they will have the opportunity to purchase those units. And as timely as it is, I just saw the article today in the Boston Globe about a person who, she had bid for 2.5 years going, getting outbid, made 30 offers on so many different condos, could not get one. And it wasn't until she was concurrently at the same time putting her name into these lotteries for these affordable units, did she get one? And she got one of these affordables. And again, it's like winning the lottery. You know, it really is, because you're buying one of these units at a very affordable rate. I think the last time we did these on the Chelsea project, a 2-bedroom condo for $248,000 ended up being a monthly condo fee and everything about $1,500 a month. I mean, for you to own a condo for $1,500 a month in this market, in this region, is brand new, by the way, is a great opportunity. So we're we're excited to offer this opportunity as part of the project also.
I have a question, and you may know this, you might not, Roy. Do you know what the restriction is, or what the deed restriction is, as far as profit for when the person decides to sell? Can they make profit, or is it that they just have to sell at the sales price for an affordable unit?
So when they are allowed to make a profit, I think what happens is on a yearly basis, they can go above 2.5% of the previous price per year. So there is some adjustment. Also, specifically, if they've made some improvements that were like upgrades, and they can document the upgrades. For example, I remember I worked in a project several years ago, and the counters were regular counters, and they came in and put in granite counters and stainless steel appliances. That upgrade allowed them to charge a little bit more because it was an upgrade from the existing package that it was. So if you can document something like this, it probably won't work as much here because everything is luxury, unlike before. You know, in those days, they allowed the developer to offer 2 different finishes, you know, luxury versus affordable. And now they're saying, no, you got to offer the same finishes across the board. And you can't have these different types, knowing that, you know, you're giving a cheaper version to affordable. So now all finishes have to be the same, regardless of whether it's market or affordable. And as time goes on, the AMI, rather, the 80% AMI, that income level has raised over the years. So it was $65,000. It's around $65,000 now. It used to be $55,000 and so forth. So every few years, much like when minimum wages rise, so do the AMIs on these projects. And then that, of course, allows the project to be the condo rather value when it sells to be higher than when they purchase. So the best benefit here of owning an affordable isn't that you're going to be making so much more money on the sale. You're going to make a little bit, but actually that you're not throwing money away on rents. You're actually paying down a mortgage. And B, there's tax benefits to owning a home, because you're going to get to write off all the interest that you're paying as part of a loan. So there's hidden money value there. And these are great, you know, this is a nice way for someone to say it's a starter unit that allows them to get into owning their own place at a very low level, so that when they move on and from the starter, and let's say 3-5 years, they have something they can sell and use that difference in accrued value to help them pay it down deposit on a much larger home, let's say.
What I've done and what I've been playing is the studio units, and I could also give a little more feedback on the AMI as a lender. Revere is considered a high cost area, so you're allowed for mass housing's guidelines, for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac's guidelines, to go to 120% of the AMI when you're calculating, because it's in the outskirts of Boston, so it's a little bit higher. And if you have clients that are more do-it-yourselfers and they want to look things up, I will put a link in the chat I use Fannie Mae's Home Ready link, where you can put in the city, you can put in the address, and you can see what those income limits are.
And staying right there, if you're looking at the video, I forgot to say that we're going to have those extra large windows in the units. So these units are going to have a lot of light. They're from the floor to mid ceiling. So it is that added benefit when you take a look at what these condos are going to offer. And
Isn't there also
to-
going to be some other amenities for the owners? Is there am I correct, a gym or something that's on premises, or I'm wrong on that?
Suzanne, you're great as teeing me up. I appreciate you reminding me that. There's so many
Okay.
details I tend to forget.
As
And
do I.
yes, there's also a gym on site. We'll have an exercise room in the lower level of the complex. That's part of the amenity here. So for
Okay.
those, again, we're looking for, I think those people who are looking to have an active lifestyle, they'll have a gym on site, bike trails around them. And there is a MBTA bus stop right out front. The bus stop out front is the last bus stop before it jumps onto Route 1 to Haymarket. So you literally will have an express lane or express bus ride to Haymarket if you are working in Boston. Suzanne, you know that we've sent you a couple of buyers and we've pre-approved already a few here in the building. Elizabeth has already represented her office, a few of the buyers. We have done a few reservations already, which is not unsurprising given the fact that there's very low inventory. So people are seeing this, they're searching, and some of the buyers have brought their own agents. Co-broking is open, but the developer and I, we discussed this, and just as part of strategy, we wanted to wait until we get to a certain completion stage before we say, okay, we're ready to put this out there to the market. Mostly because the buyer that we're looking for, or is probably going to be, it has to have vision. Because you're not seeing the finished product. But once we have a model unit, we're off to the races. You and I will be there on open house Sundays in the model unit, and so forth. But until then, it's the pioneer buyers right now who realize a good buy when they see one, because they realize, hey, I'm going to get this. And I think that this is going to be one of those situations where whoever is purchasing or putting a down deposit on this now will see that they got in at a good price, because we may end up seeing some price adjustments come the spring. And it happens once unit get to a certain clip. All of a sudden the developer's looking around and saying, hey, you know what? We might be able to push the envelope a little bit higher. And the prices may go a couple of $1,000s here and there. So now is the best time to buy, when there are not 20 other people putting an offer in right next to you on the unit. You get a choice of floor layouts, and also ahead of time. And maybe you can tell me, I don't know, I get a funny feeling that not funny feeling, but just based on what's going on, there may be a little bit of a lower rate come up by next spring compared to now. And if there's anything of a lower rate, that pushes prices upward. So, because we are at a point where, okay, it's a buyer's purchasing power where it limits them right now. If that goes up, then we may end up rising. So again, better to reserve now, get in cheap and early, and then save yourself some dollars for later on.